So let's talk about water. A lot of us know about water, how important it is to life. Matter of fact, if you think about it, water is the most important thing to life. You say, well, oxygen is more important. No, it's not. Without water, you can't assimilate the oxygen you breathe into your body. Water is the most important thing to your physical life, other than the Lord. It's like your physical life, though. Water, you have to have water. And so a lot of people choose wrong waters. They choose bottled water's been sitting in containers and plastic bottles in stores that have been off gassed with all type of petrochemicals, which the plastic bottles are made of. Plastic is made of petrochemicals being off gassed into that water. So you think about it. Our lives, our health, are the sum of the total choices we have made. Now, my daughter pulled up there today, and she had in the back of her car, the back seat was big old pack of bottled water. I said, "What's that doing out there?" First of all, we don't buy bottled water. We have water systems. And she says, "Well, it's left over from the horse camp." So what it was is she threw it in the back. I said, "Well, if it's been over 86, it's actually 86 to 95 degrees, that bottled water that's in your car in that heat starts releasing those petrochemicals into the water." When you think about the journey of the water, and I can get all into that and just talk for hours on it. But let's think about your life. What age do you want to live to? What age? I told my wife I'd like to live until I'm at least 103, unless Jesus comes back first. But I want to be healthy. I want to be, don't want to be using a walker or a cane or someone pushing me around in a wheelchair. And that happens for a lot of people. But what are you doing to protect your health so that you can live to a healthier age, a long life, and be healthy? So 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated. And if you think about your body's made of water. Okay. Your brain is at 74 to 83% water. Even those of us who are a little overweight, our fat is at least 20% water. Your bones are even made of water. Because their bones, yeah, your bones are even made of water. But think about this: 1%, just 1% of water loss, you're dehydrated. Say you start getting a dry mouth, well, you're dehydrated. 2% of water loss, you're thirsty. 10% of water loss, you start hallucinating. Just 10%. How many of you guys go to the gym or go out and work out in the yard this time of year when it's hot and you're sweating and you don't drink water? You're getting dehydrated. And if you keep going at 12% water loss, that can lead to death. So hydration is extremely important. Doctors will tell you drink 8 to 10 glasses of water. I always have, taught, I wouldn't say always, but for many years now, I've taught that you want to drink at least half your body weight in ounces per day. Okay, so I weigh 205 pounds. Let's just round down to 200 pounds. 200 pounds, 100 ounces a day. That should be my goal. Can I drink less than that? Yeah, unless maybe you had a cup of coffee in the morning. And that cup of coffee, I know if I have a cup of coffee in the morning, for every cup of coffee I drink, I pee 5 cups. Okay, I'm losing water. Okay, it's a diuretic. I haven't had a soda pop now in 18 years. The soda pops are so toxic to the body, and they're also diuretics. Alcohol, the same thing. David talks a lot about alcohol, how dangerous it is to the human body. Alcohol, beer, those type of things, they dehydrate you. Okay, so half your body weight in ounces per day is what you should be shooting at. But hydration and being properly hydrated is super important. I want you guys to think about this. I said I'm skipping by a lot of these, but you can do is I'll send you the PowerPoint if you want it. We talked about these things about 1% water loss, you're dehydrated. When we drink water, are we drinking the right kind of water? If we aren't, it's not getting into the cellular level. Water, when we drink it, if it's small enough, and David talked to me about water, this is small water. And I call it microclustered water. If that water's not getting into the body, you're going to start getting dehydrated. You're going to have fatigue, you're going to have headaches, you're going to have joint pain, you're going to have a sluggish metabolism, cravings. Think about this. In the evening, you're sitting there, you're reading a book, watching TV, on the internet, whatever you do in the evening, and you start getting hungry. First thing you should do is go get yourself a glass of water. Most cravings, when you're not really hungry, are from your body saying, I'm thirsty. So go get yourself a glass of water. I end each day, before I go to bed, I drink 24 ounces of water before I climb into bed. And the first thing I drink in the morning is a tall glass of water. Now, I changed that here recently. My first glass in the water now is X20. And so, um, and we'll talk about that here in a minute or two. So, we want to make sure that the water we're drinking is good water. A lot of people don't realize that with tap water, 41 million Americans the water they're drinking has been found to contain a wide range of pharmaceuticals, sex hormones, anti-seizure medications, on and on. What's in your water? So you can do the research on your own, but our tap water today, our bottled water, lack all the essential minerals that we need. The pH level is usually neutral to acidic, and that oxidative stress that is caused by poor water quality wreaks havoc in our body. So, a lot of unseen contaminants out there. Think about the plastics. We mentioned bottled water earlier, and the petrochemicals that leach into our water when you drink out of a plastic bottle. That water has got plastics in it as well. And so microplastics, matter of fact, I heard a study not long ago that the average human, they found that seen these plastic spoons, plastic forks. That's how much plastic they're finding when they do autopsies on people in their brain. Plastics built up in your brain. So we got to get rid of the PFASs, the PFOSs, the microplastic, the herbicides, pesticides, get them out of our water because otherwise we're not going to heal. So what is a PFAS? Okay. PFAS or PFOAs or PFOSs they're chemical compounds, they're forever chemicals, and they're in our water sources. Now, in my water where I live, run a well. Okay, it's a deep well, but the water still goes pumped up through plastic pipes up to a tank where it gets treated, and then it comes down to our houses, and who knows what's in the pipes between there and our faucet. So we need to make sure that we are checking our source water. The beauty of what we have with LifeWave's X2O is we remove all that stuff. Okay, we remove all those PFOSs, PFASs, all the stuff that we get in our water. So there's millions of people that are exposed to contaminants like PFASs and heavy metals, and their filters don't improve the bioavailability of it. So in America today, in the world today, there's this wellness shift. And that wellness shift is from drinking water that just tastes good to drinking good quality water. There's a $7 trillion global market that's turning to holistic health. Okay. $7 trillion market. X2O delivers science-backed hydration and innovation that is different from everything else in the market. You heard David Schmidt talk about lobster water. In my conversation, I was questioning him the last couple of days. We have these conversations, and I said, "What's a good way to explain why our water's different?" Now, you heard me talk about our water that you bring out of the X2O is alkaline. Okay, it tests a 9.5 to 10.0 pH potential of hydrogen, so the water is alkaline. The water also tests as having an ORP. ORP is oxidation reduction potential, okay, or the potential to reduce oxidation in the body. What's oxidation do? Oxidation causes stress in the body. It speeds up the aging process. You think about an apple, you slice an apple and it starts to turn brown. That's oxidation. Or like the bananas I just had to throw out because we didn't eat them quick enough. they're starting to turn brown. They're oxidizing. Or an avocado, same thing. Oxidation happens in fruits and vegetables, in anything, and it happens in our bodies. So when you drink something that's antioxidant, it's slowing down the oxidation or the aging process of the body. So I use Milwaukee Instruments ORP meter. I've been using these for going on 20 years. I test water, or I also have pH meters, and I test to find out what the potential to reduce oxidation is in our water. Now, usually a negative 300, well, remember, negative number's better. Positive oxidizing, negatives antioxidant. A negative 300 is good for a water ionizer. Okay, we are not a water ionizer. We're ionizing water, but we're not a water ionizer. I get not a negative 300, 350, but fresh water coming from the X20 in the morning. Before I get my glasses, I test the water as it's coming out. I get a negative 1000 to 1070. Negative. That's like off the chart for oxidation reduction potential. Or once again, like I said, the potential to reduce oxidation. Now, one thing David has told me, he says, Jim, says, make sure because we've been talking about my machine, says, make sure that you drink it on an empty stomach. Well, I've been drinking alkaline water for 18 years now. If someone has not consumed alkaline water, then they can have some slight detox symptoms. Excuse me. So, and he wants you to drink it on an empty stomach because when you take some of this alkaline and you drink it, that if you have food in your stomach, you want your stomach to be acidic to help digest your food. But your stomach is not acidic. It's still acidic, but it's not the strong acidity when you don't have anything in your stomach. You drink water, it doesn't it's not dumping in the pancreatic acid, juices into your stomach to digest um, and help with the digestion. So what happens is we want our bodies, we want our stomachs to be empty, or I would say at least an hour after a meal before you drink the water.